In the pre-dawn silence of November 2025, the Western Pacific became a crucible of naval power. The USS Zumwalt, America's most advanced destroyer, moved through contested waters with its stealth profile hidden beneath the waves. On its decks, a newly installed weapon system stood ready, the intermediate-range conventional prompt strike hypersonic missiles capable of reaching Mach speeds and striking before an adversary could react. Across the horizon, another silhouette emerged, China's Type 055 destroyer, a 10,000-ton warship bristling with more than 100 vertical launch cells and dual-band radar designed to hunt in shadows. Two symbols of modern naval warfare, locked on intersecting courses. Then, the silence fractured. Radar screens lit with ghostly echoes. Minute shifts in electromagnetic signals hinted at detection. On the Zumwalt's command deck, layered sensor fusion stitched together satellite feeds, phased array radar returns, and electronic intelligence, painting a picture of an adversary closing fast. On the Type 055, technicians parsed through an electromagnetic storm of decoys and reflections, searching for the elusive American hull. Each vessel, aware of the other, weighed its next move, whether to shadow, to warn, or to fire. But this encounter was not simply about two warships. It was about control of the Indo-Pacific, the arteries of global trade, and the razor's edge of deterrence. The Zumwalt's hypersonic arsenal represented a strategic leap, a weapon designed to strike deep inland targets with unmatched speed. The Chinese Type 055 embodied Beijing's ambition to protect its carrier groups and assert dominance in its near seas. Every radar pulse, every flicker of electronic noise carried consequences that extended far beyond the horizon. In less than 12 minutes, the balance of power could shift. What began as a quiet detection in the dark could ignite into the opening chapter of a conflict no nation can afford. And as the crosshairs began to steady, one question remained. Would this be a fleeting encounter or the spark of something far greater? The pre-dawn darkness of November 15, 2025, draped across the Western Pacific's vast maritime expanse, transforming the ocean into a complex technological battleground where stealth, sensor capabilities, and strategic positioning would determine the first critical moments of potential conflict. The USS Zumwalt DDG-1000, recently modernized with its advanced hypersonic missile capability, moved with calculated precision through international waters, its radar-deflecting hull design cutting through the sea with minimal electromagnetic signature. The ship's integrated combat systems, a culmination of decades of naval warfare technological development, maintained continuous multi-layered surveillance across the maritime domain. Phased array radar systems, satellite intelligence feeds, and advanced electromagnetic sensing packages worked in near instantaneous coordination, creating a comprehensive operational picture that transformed the oceanic space into a transparent, digitally mapped environment. The Chinese Type 055 destroyer, a massive 10,000-ton surface combatant, represented a parallel technological apex of maritime warfare capabilities. With its 112 vertical launch cells and advanced dual-band radar systems, the vessel embodied China's maritime strategic ambitions in the Indo-Pacific region. The integrated mass technology and low radar cross-section design suggested a deliberate engineering approach focused on maximizing combat effectiveness while minimizing detection vulnerabilities. Electronic warfare packages mounted across the vessel's systems created a complex electromagnetic environment, continuously analyzing and adapting to potential detection risks. The Type 055's positioning, serving as a critical escort for carrier groups and representing the cutting edge of Chinese naval modernization, transformed each nautical mile into a potential strategic statement about regional maritime power dynamics. The moment of mutual detection unfolded with a clinical precision that reflected the technological sophistication of both platforms. Fractional changes in electromagnetic signatures, minute perturbations in radar returns, and subtle electronic communication patterns began creating a complex tactical puzzle. The Zumwalt's advanced sensor fusion systems, integrating data from satellite, airborne, and maritime sources, began processing the emerging contact with computational precision. Hypersonic missile systems, recently integrated into the destroyer's weapon packages, remained powered and ready, representing a strategic capability that fundamentally altered the maritime engagement calculus. The Type 055, equally aware of the emerging operational context, began its own multi-layered assessment, its advanced combat systems parsing through layers of electronic intelligence. And just as the first definitive contact signatures began crystallizing, a critical question emerged. Would this be a routine maritime encounter, or the opening moments of a much larger geopolitical confrontation? The initial engagement phase transformed the maritime environment into a complex computational battlefield where milliseconds and electromagnetic signatures would determine strategic advantage. The Zumwalt's advanced combat systems initiated comprehensive threat assessment protocols, analyzing the Type 055's approach vector with near-instantaneous computational precision. Phased array radar systems began mapping potential weapon engagement zones, calculating potential missile trajectories, and preparing defensive countermeasures. The ship's recently integrated hypersonic missile systems, representing a critical technological upgrade, remained powered and positioned, their launch parameters continuously refined by real-time intelligence streams. Environmental conditions, sea state, electromagnetic noise floor, satellite communication windows became critical variables in the emerging tactical scenario, each factor potentially influencing the potential for escalation or de-escalation. As the distance between the two naval platforms compressed, the technological capabilities of each vessel became increasingly pronounced. The Type 055's dual-band radar systems began executing complex electronic scanning patterns, attempting to penetrate the Zumwalt's advanced stealth characteristics. Vertical launch cell systems on both vessels maintained heightened readiness, with targeting computers continuously calculating and recalculating potential engagement scenarios. Electronic warfare packages mounted on each platform began a silent, sophisticated digital confrontation, jamming signals, analyzing communication frequencies, and preparing potential counter-electromagnetic strategies. The Chinese vessel's 112 launch cells represented a massive potential strike capability, while the Zumwalt's recently integrated hypersonic missile systems suggested a precision strike potential that fundamentally altered traditional maritime engagement doctrines. Each nautical mile represented a compression of technological capabilities, strategic intentions, and potential geopolitical consequences. The moment of potential first strike emerged with a clinical precision that reflected years of strategic military technological development. Targeting systems locked onto potential engagement vectors, with computational algorithms analyzing potential outcomes across millisecond timescales. The Zumwalt's combat systems detected subtle changes in the Type 055's electronic signature, minute adjustments in radar scanning patterns, potential missile lock preparations, communication frequency modulations that suggested heightened operational readiness. Hypersonic missile systems remained powered and positioned, their launch capabilities representing a strategic deterrence that fundamentally transformed the maritime engagement calculus. The computational complexity of the emerging scenario suggested that the next moments would determine not just the immediate tactical outcome, but potentially signal broader geopolitical implications for maritime power dynamics in the Indo-Pacific region. And just as the first potential targeting locks began crystallizing, a critical electronic signature emerged that would challenge the carefully constructed operational parameters, suggesting that the maritime encounter was far from a predictable engagement. The maritime battlespace transformed into a sophisticated electronic ecosystem where electromagnetic signals became weapons, and digital computational capabilities represented the primary strategic advantage. The Zumwalt's advanced electronic warfare packages initiated comprehensive counter-detection protocols, deploying a multi-layered defense strategy designed to disrupt, confuse, and neutralize potential targeting systems. Specialized signal generation modules created complex electromagnetic noise patterns, generating false radar returns and electronic decoys that would challenge the Type 055's tracking capabilities. The ship's integrated combat systems executed these defensive strategies with computational precision, transforming the oceanic environment into a dynamic, constantly shifting electronic landscape where traditional detection methodologies became increasingly unreliable. As the electronic confrontation intensified, the technological capabilities of both naval platforms became increasingly pronounced. The Type 055's dual-band radar systems attempted to penetrate the complex electronic countermeasure environment, executing sophisticated scanning algorithms designed to differentiate between genuine and artificially generated electronic signatures. Vertical launch cell systems on both vessels maintained heightened readiness, with targeting computers continuously adapting to the rapidly evolving electromagnetic environment. Advanced signal processing algorithms worked in near-instantaneous coordination, analyzing fractional changes in radar returns, communication frequency modulations, and potential targeting lock signatures. The Chinese vessel's comprehensive electronic warfare capabilities, representing years of strategic military technological development, began executing complex defensive and offensive electronic strategies, attempting to maintain tactical situational awareness in an increasingly complex maritime engagement scenario. The moment of potential electronic confrontation emerged with a clinical precision that reflected the computational sophistication of modern naval warfare technologies. Hypersonic missile systems remained powered and positioned, their launch capabilities representing a strategic deterrence that could fundamentally alter the maritime engagement calculus within milliseconds. The Zumwalt's combat systems detected increasingly complex electronic signature variations, suggesting that the Type 055 was executing sophisticated electronic deception strategies designed to challenge traditional targeting methodologies. Specialized signal analysis packages began deconstructing these electronic patterns, attempting to differentiate between genuine tactical communications and potential electronic warfare deception techniques. The computational complexity of the emerging scenario suggested that electromagnetic dominance, rather than traditional kinetic capabilities, would potentially determine the strategic outcome of the maritime encounter. And just as the electronic warfare packages reached their most complex operational state, an unexpected electromagnetic signature emerged that would challenge the carefully constructed defensive strategies, indicating that the maritime confrontation was about to enter an entirely new phase of technological complexity. The maritime battlespace transformed into a high-stakes computational arena where hypersonic missile technologies would fundamentally reshape strategic engagement parameters. The Zumwalt's recently integrated intermediate-range conventional prompt strike (IRCPS) missile systems powered to full operational readiness, representing a critical technological capability that fundamentally altered the traditional maritime warfare calculus. Advanced targeting computers began executing complex mathematical models, calculating potential engagement vectors with near-instantaneous computational precision. The vessel's stealth characteristics, its inverse bow design, and radar-absorbing structural configurations created an additional layer of tactical complexity, making traditional targeting methodologies increasingly challenging. Environmental variables, sea state, electromagnetic propagation conditions, satellite communication windows, became critical computational inputs that would determine the potential success of a hypersonic strike engagement. As the potential strike window compressed, the technological capabilities of both naval platforms reached a critical operational apex. The Type 055's 112 vertical launch cells represented a massive potential counterstrike capability, with advanced dual-band radar systems attempting to penetrate the Zumwalt's sophisticated electronic defensive environment. Targeting systems on both vessels executed increasingly complex engagement protocols, with computational algorithms analyzing potential outcomes across microsecond timescales. The hypersonic missile systems, representing the cutting edge of naval warfare technology, maintained a state of heightened operational readiness, their launch parameters continuously refined by real-time intelligence streams. Each nautical mile represented a compression of technological capabilities that would potentially determine not just the immediate tactical outcome, but broader geopolitical implications for maritime power dynamics in the Indo-Pacific region. The moment of potential hypersonic engagement emerged with a clinical precision that reflected years of advanced military technological development. The Zumwalt's combat systems detected critical targeting opportunities. Subtle changes in the Type 055's electronic signature suggested a potential vulnerability in its defensive electronic warfare capabilities. Hypersonic missile launch sequences began initializing, with computational systems executing complex pre-launch verification protocols that would determine the strike's potential effectiveness. The missile's max speed capabilities represented a fundamental technological breakthrough, a weapons system that could potentially traverse traditional defensive engagement parameters within milliseconds. Specialized signal analysis packages worked in near-instantaneous coordination, parsing through layers of electronic intelligence to identify the optimal strike window. The computational complexity of the emerging scenario suggested that the next moments would represent a critical inflection point in maritime warfare capabilities. And just as the hypersonic missile systems reached their final launch preparation stages, an unexpected electronic signature emerged that would challenge the carefully constructed strike parameters, indicating that the maritime confrontation was about to enter an entirely unprecedented phase of technological complexity. The aftermath of the hypersonic strike transformed the maritime battlespace into a complex forensic environment where computational analysis would determine the immediate and strategic consequences of the engagement. The Zumwalt's advanced damage control systems initiated comprehensive structural assessment protocols, executing real-time analysis of the vessel's critical systems and potential vulnerabilities. Integrated sensor packages worked in near-instantaneous coordination, mapping the extent of potential damage, tracking system redundancies, and preparing emergency response strategies. The ship's combat systems continued to maintain heightened operational readiness, understanding that the initial strike represented only a fraction of the potential maritime confrontation. Environmental variables, sea state, electromagnetic interference, satellite communication windows became critical inputs in the ongoing tactical assessment, each factor potentially influencing the next phase of the maritime engagement. As the initial strike's consequences began to crystallize, the technological resilience of both naval platforms became increasingly pronounced. The Type 055's advanced damage control systems executed complex structural integrity assessments, analyzing the hypersonic strike's impact across multiple computational dimensions. Vertical launch cell systems maintained operational readiness, with targeting computers continuously recalculating potential counter-engagement strategies. Electronic warfare packages mounted on the vessel began executing sophisticated defensive and offensive electromagnetic strategies, attempting to maintain tactical situational awareness in an increasingly complex maritime scenario. The vessel's 112 launch cells represented a massive potential counterstrike capability, with advanced dual-band radar systems working to penetrate the complex electronic defensive environment created by the initial engagement. Each moment represented a critical computational calculation that would potentially determine the strategic outcome of the maritime confrontation. The tactical recalibration phase emerged with a clinical precision that reflected the computational sophistication of modern naval warfare technologies. Specialized signal analysis packages worked to deconstruct the aftermath of the hypersonic strike, attempting to differentiate between actual structural damage and potential electronic warfare deception techniques. The Zumwalt's combat systems detected increasingly complex electronic signature variations, suggesting that the Type 055 was executing sophisticated damage mitigation and counter-strike strategies. Hypersonic missile systems remained powered and positioned, their launch capabilities representing a critical strategic deterrence that could fundamentally alter the maritime engagement calculus within milliseconds. The computational complexity of the emerging scenario suggested that the next moments would represent a critical inflection point in the maritime confrontation, a moment where technological capabilities, strategic positioning, and computational precision would potentially determine the ultimate outcome of the engagement. And just as the tactical recalibration reached its most complex operational state, an unexpected electromagnetic signature emerged that would challenge the carefully constructed damage assessment strategies, indicating that the maritime confrontation was about to enter an entirely new phase of technological and strategic complexity. The final phase of the maritime engagement transformed from a tactical naval confrontation into a comprehensive geopolitical assessment with far-reaching strategic implications. The Zumwalt's advanced intelligence integration systems began processing the entire operational encounter, extracting granular data points that would potentially reshape understanding of modern naval warfare capabilities. Computational analysis packages worked in near-instantaneous coordination, mapping the technological performance of both naval platforms across multiple strategic dimensions. Weapon system effectiveness, electronic warfare capabilities, structural resilience, and tactical decision-making processes. The encounter represented more than a singular maritime confrontation. It was a critical test of emerging naval warfare technologies that would potentially influence military doctrine across global maritime strategic frameworks. As the operational analysis deepened, the broader geopolitical implications of the maritime encounter began to crystallize. The technological capabilities demonstrated by both the USS Zumwalt and the Chinese Type 055 suggested a fundamental transformation in naval warfare methodologies. Hypersonic missile technologies, advanced stealth characteristics, and sophisticated electronic warfare packages represented a new paradigm of maritime strategic capabilities that fundamentally challenged traditional naval engagement doctrines. Intelligence integration systems continued to parse through layers of operational data, evaluating the performance of critical technological systems under high-stress maritime confrontation scenarios. The encounter between these two advanced naval platforms suggested a critical inflection point in maritime power dynamics, particularly in the strategically sensitive Indo-Pacific region. Each analyzed data point represented a potential insight into the future of naval technological capabilities, strategic positioning, and geopolitical maritime interactions. The operational conclusion emerged with a clinical precision that reflected the computational sophistication of modern military technological assessment. Specialized analysis packages work to deconstruct the entire maritime engagement, extracting critical insights about technological performance, strategic decision-making, and potential future naval warfare methodologies. The Zumwalt's combat systems generated comprehensive operational reports that would potentially inform future naval technological development, strategic positioning, and maritime engagement protocols. Hypersonic missile system performance data, electronic warfare package effectiveness, and structural resilience metrics became critical inputs for future military technological research and development. The computational complexity of the analysis suggested that the maritime encounter represented far more than a singular tactical engagement. It was a critical test of emerging naval warfare capabilities that would potentially reshape understanding of maritime power dynamics in the 21st century. And just as the final operational analysis reached its most comprehensive state, a subtle but critical insight emerged that would challenge existing understanding of naval technological capabilities, indicating that the maritime confrontation had generated insights that extended far beyond the immediate tactical engagement. The hypothetical maritime engagement between the USS Zumwalt and the Chinese Type 055 destroyer represents more than a singular naval confrontation. It symbolizes a critical inflection point in the evolution of maritime warfare capabilities in the mid-2020s. The operation revealed the fundamental transformation of naval combat from traditional kinetic engagements to a complex computational battlefield, where electromagnetic capabilities, hypersonic technologies, and advanced sensor fusion systems determine strategic outcomes with unprecedented precision. The technological capabilities demonstrated during this encounter, from the Zumwalt's advanced stealth characteristics and hypersonic missile systems to the Type 055's comprehensive electronic warfare packages, underscore the rapidly evolving nature of maritime strategic capabilities. The engagement highlighted critical vulnerabilities in traditional naval warfare doctrines, demonstrating how millisecond-level computational processes, advanced sensor integration, and innovative weapon technologies can fundamentally reshape maritime power dynamics. The Indo-Pacific region, increasingly characterized by technological competition between near-peer adversaries, represents a critical testing ground for these emerging naval warfare capabilities. If you believe stories like this matter, and that we must understand modern war before it happens again, subscribe, like, and comment to support the channel.